Hey guys, we have some super exciting news for you today because the new 5.3 update is out, meaning all of the capabilities from the 5.2 update are now available for Mac, iOS, and Android users, in addition to a bunch of bug fixes that Nick is going to explain today.
First big one for 5.3 is going to be a firmware update for your SKYTRAKs. This is going to improve the capture rate. This is going to improve the capture rate around the greens with those really slow chips, as well as just the general capture rate of really well-struck shots. We also did some adjustments on the Clubhead speed algorithm to make that a little bit more what you would expect it to be, which may influence some of the smash factor numbers that you do see on there, but that is going to be more likely what you would normally swing. So that's a really nice update there. Yeah. We also did some graphics updates for the mobile version, so you can actually choose the graphic quality that you want while in course play practice for the mobile, which makes it a lot easier to move around the course a little more seamlessly, not having some of the jumping and everything. We have a couple that we'll show you today, like the wind arrow is now pointing in the correct direction when you're practicing on course play, which is definitely nice. It was kind of a fun little mystery of what you were going to get, but now it is pointing in the correct direction. And then based off a lot of feedback that we got, we made the rough penalty just a little bit less. So it's still going to be penalizing as it should be. You're in the rough, but it is going to be a little less penalizing than it was before. So that'll be kind of a nice little update there for that one. We updated some green physics, fairway physics, and the rough physics. I think you're going to see the fairways roll out a little bit less than what we've been accustomed to in the previous builds. And then on the greens, I think you're going to see it a lot when you're chipping around the greens and pitching around the greens. You're going to see the ball react a little bit more like it should, or like it would on a real golf course. We added a few other pieces, like a new camera mode for when you're chipping around the greens in practice mode. The camera will actually follow the ball, which is really nice.
Awesome.
So you can actually see where it's going and see how it's breaking and have that good stuff. Then you also I don't know if it really matters if you're chipping on the green or not, because you got a pretty good lie, but you can chip on the greens if in course play or in just practice mode if you want to, but the ball does have to launch over 10 degrees, otherwise it's going to act like a putt. So if you do over 10 degree chip, it should be just fine. And then there was a bug in there that if you practiced on the course play practice in the rough, and you're hitting a bunch of shots in the rough, and then you decided to go back to the normal SKYTRAK range, it was still carrying that rough lie penalty back to the range. We have fixed that, so it is now not carrying back over.
Awesome.
There's a bunch of stuff in this build, to be honest with you, but those are probably the highlights of what's going on. Yeah,
and going back to capture rate, that part is huge because now we have a 99% capture rate.
Yeah, it's still going to miss some maybe really bad shots, some tops, or some of those hosel rockets or whatever, but it'll catch most of them. Again, it just might miss a few of those. But generally your well-struck shots or pretty decently struck shots, that should be pretty close to 100% for sure.
Awesome. Well, should we walk through it?
Yeah, let's do this. All right, so we're gonna hit a few fairway woods here to show a couple things. One, some of the fairway physics, as well as we'll take a look at some clubhead speed and how that's affecting the smash factor, and we'll talk a little bit about that. The other thing with the clubhead speed, anytime that you really want to get the most accurate clubhead speed reading, make sure that you do select the club that you are hitting. So if you're hitting driver, select driver, 7-iron, select 7-iron.
Now we have the most accurate numbers.
Now we have the most accurate. 7 wood, let her rip.
Okay. There we go.
That one sounded nice.
Nice.
Look at that.
I'll take that.
There you go. And that ball only rolled out 12 yards. I think, again, in past versions, that might have rolled out a little bit more than 12 yards. That was really good. Your smash factor is getting a little better right there. You can see that clubhead speed got a little better. I think you caught that one a little more crisp, so that's why that clubhead speed went up a touch. But overall, that you're seeing that clubhead speed and that smash factor kind of match up, and then you get some of those ground physics that are going to match up to something a little bit more closely related to what you'd see on the course of, you hit that with 40-degree descent angle. I would expect that to roll out somewhere about 10 yards. So we got 12 yards on that one. That's a pretty good play right there. And you hit it really good.
Thank you.
Okay, you want to show some chipping around the greens?
Yeah.
All right, we got 25 yards, a little up the hill, a little right to left.
Oh, that was bad.
Might be all right. Sit.
Oh.
You can see that ball rolled out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
You carried that 24 yards, and I think your spin was a little low on that one.
Yeah.
So
I would say that's typically more than I would see it roll out in the past. So more accurate and compared to real life situations.
Yeah, and you said you weren't using your sand wedge, so
Yeah.
I would expect the spin rate to be a little lower anyway, if you're not using your sand wedge. But yeah, that was, I mean, it's 7 yards. It's only 21 feet of roll.
Yeah.
Slightly up the hill. Greens are a little bit quick here, so that's totally fine. But that's good way to practice your chipping here. Just being able to actually get something that's a little bit more realistic to what you're going to see on the course. If you did use your sand wedge and clip it a little cleaner and add that spin, that ball is going to still stop and maybe release only a couple feet, but it'll stop much quicker like it should.
Let's go to the rough lie penalty.
So we'll take this. We'll have some fun. This is the cool thing about course play practice is, hey, we can practice shots that Pebble Beach would probably be really mad if you actually tried to do this shot in real life, but we can do it here anyway. So your power's knocked down about 8 to 13%, and then you have 20% knocked off your spin. You got a 60-yard shot.
And if I remember correctly, when we were heading out of the rough before, it was 85 and 85. Is that correct?
It was still 80% spin, but it was 85% power, so it was 85 to 90. So we just upped it a little bit. Again, we still want it to be penalizing. We still want this to be somewhat fun. You never know what lie you're gonna get when you're in the rough. You could be playing some rough that is really light, and you could be playing some rough that is pretty thick. So I would say it's typically about a club, maybe a club and a half, depending on if you want to make sure you get it there. But overall, I think it's pretty realistic to what you would see on a golf course. How do you think you did?
I think I might have gone
A little too far?
Oh.
Ooh.
I was actually going to say
you
a little
said 74.
too short,
Yeah, there you go.
Sweet. Okay.
Okay, so that wasn't too bad. And again, when you look at this, you're going to see the backspin, and some of those numbers are actually going to change. That's the flight model working and taking that power and the speed that we're taking off there and applying that to this directly. So that's going to show you actually what the spin rate was on that specific shot. But that was pretty good. You want to hit one more there?
Yeah.
I think you got this.
Thanks, Nick.
Just a touch less.
I appreciate the confidence. It might have been.
That was a little less.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
And there you go. You landed on a little bit of a downslope. Notice how the ball is still trickling out a little bit. Again, in previous versions, I think that ball would have stopped a little quicker. I think that reacted just like it should. You had a really low spin. You kind of landed on that little knob, that downslope.
Yep.
That ball would have trickled down there and actually ended up being a pretty decent shot overall.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep. What's next for us?
Let's see. The wind arrow.
The wind arrow. Oh, yeah. Let's, what do you got there? Let's have some fun. Let's go to hole 7.
Oh, okay.
And then let's put this wind on. And you don't really want to play Pebble Beach in the wind, but we are gonna jack the wind up a little bit. Let's have some fun here. And that would be coming from the south, I believe, to make this dead in our face. Yep, you got 16-mile-an-hour wind.
Okay.
Dead in your face right now. 100 yards, down 30 feet, so probably playing about 90.
Okay.
Then you got to add the wind in there. You're probably playing this somewhere in the 120-yard range.
Okay, I'm gonna club up then. Okay, I think I'm gonna go 8-iron.
Okay.
Hope that this
And
gets it
again,
there.
just like anything else in the wind, if you hit it lower, it might bore through it a little bit more, but let's see what this looks like here.
Okay. Oh no, I chunked it. Oh. I mean, I'll take that for how terribly I hit it.
Yeah. And so you can see, that ball just went out to the right. That was pretty close to the right club. Might have been a little too much club.
Yeah.
Do you got a 9-iron in there?
I do. I'm gonna switch.
Let's go back to that 9-iron. This is what can be really fun if you really want to challenge yourself, play with some of the wind settings, the lie settings, and really challenge yourself to hit some of those tougher shots.
Okay,
well, that's a better swing. Ooh, right at it.
Nice. I'll take that.
Very good.
So as you guys can see, we added 16 miles per hour of wind on this hole. I would typically hit with a pitching wedge, and that shot was with a 9-iron, so it's about what we would expect from that amount of wind.
Yeah, No, I mean, you're gonna have to add a club. I mean, this is only 90 yards, so it's not gonna have too much wind effect to it. I mean, it will have some, obviously, because you're hitting a higher shot, but it's only going 100 yards in the first place. So
yeah.
Some of your longer shots, your 200-yard shots, 180-yard shots, those are gonna have, that wind's really gonna start playing with that ball even more. But that was a really good shot. It was right on line. You took the extra club, you got it through the wind. That was awesome. So one of the big bugs that we had was the lie penalty was translating from the course practice to the normal range. So we have you hitting a couple shots here from the rough with the lie penalty on, and then we'll go to the range and show you that that's actually working as it should.
Awesome.
Okay, so you got 121 yards, a little downhill, but you're in the rough here, so hopefully it's about the same as your 9-iron.
Yeah. No, that wasn't good.
Okay, so you can see that lie penalty really took over. Didn't hit that maybe as good as you thought you might have, but at the same time, because you were in the rough, you got a little bit of a speed deduction as well as spin.
Yep.
So now let's just take this back to the practice area. And let's go back to a range, and just the normal range. And this is where in the past, if you would have hit a bunch of those shots right there and then gone to the range and tried to hit some shots, that penalty was sticking onto it.
Yeah.
Now you should be good. So let's hit a normal, you got a 9-iron there, right?
Yep.
Yep, so let's hit a normal 9-iron. Sounded pretty good. How far do you normally hit your 9-iron?
I would say about 120 to 130.
There you go. So now you're seeing that there is no lie penalty applied here. You hit one on the last hole. Didn't hit it as good, but it was only went like 90 yards or so. Yeah. Now you have your normal 9-iron distance. So at least we have that separated now. That makes it a whole lot easier for everybody to kind of go back and forth and not have to worry about that.
Well guys, I hope you enjoy this update. Remember, we now have all of the 5.2 update for Mac and Android users, in addition to all of these bug fixes. So be sure to try it out and let us know what you guys think.